What's up, everybody? Matt Gajeski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel. And today, we're talking some college basketball bets. We have a shorter slate for this Monday, January the 16th, but still some fun games to get into. And before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. If you're listening on podcasts, also please leave a rating and review. That helps us a ton. So thank you if you've done that. And lastly, we are sponsored today by DraftKings Sportsbook. They have a phenomenal offer for you guys, which is only available for a limited time. So make sure to take advantage of this. Here's how it works. You're going to head over to DraftKings Sportsbook or just click the link in the video description below to do this. Deposit $5 into your DraftKings Sportsbook account. This is for first-time users. And then make a wager of $5 on anything. Could be one of these college basketball bets. And doesn't matter if it wins or loses, that wager is automatically going to turn your $5 into $200, gets paid out in the form of free bets. So make sure to check out DraftKings Sportsbook. And this is for legal age gamblers. In most states, that is 21. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's dive into this. We've got some marquee games in the Big Ten today, a couple of ACC matchups. We're going to kick things off with one of the matinee games. It's a beautiful Monday matinee slate, and we've got Michigan State taking on Purdue. Sparty is the home team here, but they're coming into this contest a little banged up. Malik Hall got injured in their most recent game. He's a key piece of this team, especially when you face a team like Purdue who has a ton of size. There's been conflicting reports on whether Malik Hall is in a walking boot or not. Obviously, if he's in a walking boot, having just played a few days ago, that's very bad. But regardless, it doesn't seem good for Malik Hall's status against Purdue. And, I mean, when we talk about Purdue, this is a team that has a size advantage over every team in the country. They're number one in effective height. A lot of that comes because of Zach Edey's size. Well, Michigan State's actually 66th in effective height, but removing Hall from this is massive. You kind of got to dive into Michigan State's actual players to look at their effective height. Malik Hall's 6'8", and this team doesn't have a player taller than 6'9", at least that plays much. That'd be Joey Hauser. So this is a team that's pretty balanced in terms of size, but they don't really have a guy that matches up well against Edey, if that makes sense. And then, you know, Purdue, stylistically, just looking at the matchup, they look like they're a team poised to defend a team like Michigan State. Michigan State's a pretty good shooting team. They do a lot of that from the perimeter. They're only actually 253rd in interior two-point percentage, but they're nearly a top 30 team in three-point percentage. Unfortunately for them, Purdue also has a top 30 three-point defense. And then on the other side, Purdue should just absolutely eat Michigan State on the interior. This team, Michigan State, that is barely inside the top 100 in two-point defense. Purdue, obviously a top 25 team on the interior with Edey. And the only real question for me is if Michigan State dedicates extra resources to Edey, can Purdue shoot it over the top? Because this team hasn't been the best in three-point percentage this year, have not gotten the shooters to hit most of the time when Edey is getting double-teamed and extra coverage is dedicated his direction. But we did see Fletcher Loyer kind of step up in their most recent game, absolutely flame from the three. He's shooting 36%. So even if you just get like a solid Fletcher Loyer percentage from three, I think this is a spot where we can back Purdue pretty clearly. I hit this line -2.5. It's bouncing all over the place. I think because of the injury to Malik Hall, I think you might be able to find a 2.5, a 3. But worst case scenario, if you're seeing this like right before tip and it's 3.5, I'm okay with that number. I'll back anything inside 4 with Purdue. Let's go to our second game. Again, we mentioned it's kind of a greasy slate. So not a lot of teams playing that are marquee matchups. We're going to go to another one. Delaware taking on Northeastern. This is a weird game overall, but Delaware does have some stylistic advantages. We'll be backing the dog in this spot. +3 is the current line for Delaware. They're not at home, which is something to at least mention here. Home court does favor Northeastern, but really weird stylistic matchup. Delaware definitely has offensive advantages. You look at this team, they're 128th in offensive efficiency. Northeastern's 289th. This team does not score well at all. But then it's almost the opposite on the other side of the court. Northeastern 150th in defensive efficiency. Delaware's 264th. So you've got a good offense playing a good defense, a bad offense playing a bad defense. How does this match up? I think right away you can look at just the scoring of Delaware and back that. Seeing the defensive numbers for Northeastern is all good and well, but they have one of the easiest strength of schedules in the country. This team is 295th in strength of schedule. Delaware is actually 171st. They played a relatively difficult schedule for a mid-major team. So seeing these strong numbers defensively for Northeastern and then their strength of schedule, I'm not really buying it. And then just seeing their terrible offensive efficiency with that terrible strength of schedule is something that is really condemning to me. This team only has one solid win. They beat Davidson and they beat them by 3 points. Otherwise, the other marquee teams they faced, they've gotten blown out against Providence, Syracuse, Georgia Tech. That's mostly going to happen. But they've also lost to here's the teams they've lost to. Only one of them is in the top 150 in the country. Or excuse me, the teams they've beaten. They beat Manhattan, who's 320th, Georgia State 228th, Holy Cross 344th, Davidson 146th. That's certainly a good win. North Carolina A&T 266th, and Hampton 352. This team has played nobody. Every time they've stepped up in competition, they've lost with the exception of the Davidson win. And again, Delaware's actually played a relatively difficult schedule for a team that's a mid-major. I mean, they've played Air Force, Duke, Charleston, who's a great team, Hofstra. They beat Princeton. Delaware actually has a relatively good strength of schedule. So we're going to take the points with Delaware +3 in this spot. Last game, we're going to head out west. We have UC Davis taking on San Diego. Instead of backing a side or a total here, or a side, we're going to back the total here at 138. We're going to hit this towards the over. And right away, the easiest thing I can say about this total is both of these teams play at the speed of light. You have UC Davis, 74.1 possessions per game. For reference, the average is about 70. And then you have San Diego, they're at 72.7. They're almost at 73 possessions per game. This should be a fast, up-tempo game environment, chaotic for both teams. But I also think stylistically, this matches up as well. San Diego is an awesome team from a shooting perspective. Now, they're a little bit better on the perimeter compared to their interior presence. They're not a big team. Actually, one of the main advantages I think that you might see for UC Davis is size. And that's where they defend well. But it doesn't matter. You have San Diego, 226th in 2-point percentage, but they're 119th in shooting threes. Well, on the other side, UC Davis, is 360th in defending threes. So you have a good shooting team facing a really weak perimeter defense in a very fast matchup. Meanwhile, on the other side, you have a team with a clear size advantage in UC Davis over San Diego, playing a team. San Diego defends the interior 312th. It's literally both teams are fast. How teams both score matches up with the defensive weakness for the other team. I was shocked to see this under 140. So 138 over is what we're going to back in San Diego, UC Davis. But that'll do it for us today with the Odd Shopper channel. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of these sides. If there's anything else you guys are taking on Monday, I'd love to hear it. And hit the thumbs up button, subscribe on the way out. If you'd like to follow me, I am on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. Happy to chop up anything college sports with you guys. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow for a real big Super Tuesday. Ton of marquee matchups in the Big 12. Make sure you don't miss it. Until then, we'll see you guys later. Good luck.